So, hey guys, I'm actually a lead developer over at Project Resurrection, a project that is designed in order to make the game fully offline by pretty much any means necessary. We haven't got a release date yet, since, of course, we don't know how long or how short it's going to take in order to simply get the game fully offline and fully working. So, of course, the release date is to be discovered. But however, I have in fact I made a tool that is designed in order to not only extract the textures, but also allow you to simply modify them, do whatever the fuck you want with them, and then simply turn it into a game ready file, which you can put back into the actual folder. And I'm actually in fact going to show you off via the run.bat and the bat extraction. Of course, the bat extraction simply extracts them at a batch file where, of course, you could use, for example, a folder which is effectively infinite, the bat extraction, but it just really depends on your system specification, as of course more files equals much more slower. So of course it really depends on what type of system you're gonna run this on. So let's just start off with a run.bat, where as soon as you run it, it asks for your file name. All you have to do is Control C the file name, Control V, it simply scans it, and then it simply outputs the a etc.dds file. Then you run .dds to .png, which would basically convert it from, of course, .dds to .png, which of course would need to be put right here, where where you can have run .dds, and then of course it'll be done. And then as soon as it's done, you want to get out. You want to, in fact, go to PNG edits, which would basically effectively convert that simple file into a .png. Here you can actually do the modifier, but make sure, right, that it's the same resolution. So you can do anything with it, but just make sure that it's the same resolution, or otherwise it may break or may actually crash the game. So after you're done with that, right, you simply want to, in fact, right, go back to run.tool and then simply run png to gameready.bat, where it will in fact right convert it from a .png into a .dds in output slash underscore dds, which will be over here, and then from there it will be simply converted into .dds.z, which you can in fact put back into the files. It's a lot more simpler and extremely simple, and of course if you're curious what everything is, you can of course look at the directory, where the directory has everything you in fact need in order to simply convert the textures, and of course there'll be a readme with simply instructions for you to basically go over. So there's that. And of course, there's a support.txt, which would of course allow you to simply go through the common errors that you normally get inside this program. And of course, if you get a error, you basically can look through here and see if it's in here. If it's not, you can simply message me or look through this video to see where you potentially gone wrong. And yes, that's mostly everything to do with this. Extremely useful, and on top of this was made for Project Resurrection, but it could be used by anyone if you want to start modifying the game. And trust me, this is something I've been working on for days or even weeks, because honestly, myself, I have in fact tried to figure out how to in fact simply convert them into universal assets. And now, thanks to this file that I in fact made, it's simply possible for not only for me, but also for you to in fact customize. So now, since the game's gonna get shut down, use this time in order to make custom assets or custom textures or fuck around with the files a bit, and honestly do what you want, because that's the freedom on the internet. And of course, the link to this file will be in the GitHub link in the description down below. Please show support to the repository, as that it shows whether the repository is popular and is in fact quite valuable, which of course it is, because trust me, it's a long, complicated route in order to simply get all of this done. So now, thankfully, I managed to do it in a lot more convincing and a lot more easier way compared to, I don't know, download this, download that, run that, and being a lot more complicated. Now it's just simply a nice, simple way in order to do things. Could be tedious, but we're not done yet, because we almost forgot to run bat extraction, which of course requires the fucking file. So of course it's speed rush. this is everything in the files. So what we want is basically copy as path. And then of course you want to basically close out everything. So I'm just gonna run it again real quick to put it in, and then it simply converts them and then tells you what is in fact gonna be in extracted. So we basically find out where extract is, or so we basically find out where extracted is, which is in fact located in the file that you decide to extract it in. So for example, if I decide to extract everything in the speedrush file, you can in fact go to here, then go to extracted, and then you have all the .dds files for you to, screw around for a bit. And then of course you have then from there you can simply convert it like so, where you now put everything in the extracted on DDS and just run the same process as before, where you go from DDS to pretty much PNG, and then you let it process, and then of course it'll be done, and then it'll of course be in PNG edits, where now you can simply go to all the files of SpeedRush, and this is pretty much the SpeedRush logo converted, and pretty much this is all the files related to SpeedRush. With this was saying something, I don't know. Let's in fact rotate and see what. So I don't know what the hell that says, but at least we know for fact right that we could convert this. But what about converting it to game ready files? We could just simply do that via putting everything like so, where we can in fact go from png to game ready.bat, which basically goes from pretty much getting everything in this, shove it inside of PNG universal, replace it, go over here, PNG to game ready.bat, where of course now it's simply going to convert everything into pretty much a file in output underscore DDS, which in here is here, and then convert it to .z assets like so. Now you can simply put it back inside the files, and it'll be a good old day out converting assets. So enjoy yourself, and now is going to be officially the end of the video. And if you have any problems, please put in the comments in the comments below, and have a good one.